Joining us right now, Bruce Andriatch, assistant managing editor at the Buffalo News. I know you've covered Buffalo for decades, and certainly it sounds to me like this is the worst shooting tragedy to happen in Buffalo.
It's not even close. It's one of the worst moments in Buffalo's history. It is the worst mass shooting that's ever happened here, and I think we're almost 48 hours later now. The grief, the anger, the sadness all across the region is still palpable.
There are a lot of facts in this story, and you know, we have to still unravel what the motivation here was for this very young gunman who came into a very unlikely location 3 hours from his home to carry out this attack on people who were just shopping at the grocery store, gunning down grandmothers. One of the victims, a caregiver for her family, an older woman who ran a food pantry. What are you hearing from neighbors? What's the most common sentiment you're hearing this morning?
The innocence of the people who were there, just as you described. I mean, as we learn about each of these people, it's kind of stunning how they all shared the idea of giving back to their community. One of the people you mentioned was the mother of a former fire commissioner. One of the people who was killed was a deacon in his church who also gave his time to drive people back and forth to that grocery store so that they could do their shopping if they didn't have a car. It's a thread. I think in Buffalo, we like to think it's a thread that runs through the community, but it's also one that is running through the people who lost their lives or were wounded on Saturday, and also the people who were just doing their shopping.
You know, this is a story where you see that this is a bigger issue than just one grocery store. And yet, can you kind of describe the community there in Buffalo for people who may have never been there?
Sure. It's a well-known part of the city of Buffalo on the east side. People who might be football fans might be interested to know that the Buffalo Bills started their lives about a mile away from there when they played originally at War Memorial Stadium. It's home to Canisius College. The woman you just interviewed, Kim Beatty, is the head of public safety at Canisius College, which is just a mile away. It is a predominantly black neighborhood, and that grocery store, which we had written about over the weekend, opened 19 years ago, and it was so welcomed by the community that needed a grocery store, and it became very much a focal point of the neighborhood and of the community.
And I think a lot of people, I've described it as the town center because that's where people would shop, but also communicate with each other. And it would be believed that it would be a safe place, but not that day. Bruce, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.